Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Hedera Hashgraph, or Hbar. And honestly, there's quite a bit to really talk about within the Hbar ecosystem, as well as in terms of the price today, because I know that a lot of people are panicky today, especially when we are seeing a lot of altcoins dropping 15%, 20%. There was a few that actually took a bigger hit, and there's also a few that are actually up significantly and actually making some major moves throughout the market. In fact, in terms of a lot of the assets that did take a deeper dip, now of course a few of them have been jumping around a little bit more. But Hbar is in the top 10 for the worst moving assets in terms of the losers tab. So obviously, I get it. A lot of people a little frustrated. All good though, because I think that in the long-term viewpoints from here on out, a lot of people are going to be very surprised with a lot of the price movements, especially on altcoins, especially even on Bitcoin. So with that being said, sit back, relax, and before we fully jump into this video, I just want to ask if you guys are new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. Also, Barbarians, let's hit that like button because, we just got 600 likes on the other Hbar video, which I think that we could easily smash, but that was absolutely massive. So thank you all who liked the last video. I do greatly appreciate that. Now, before we fully jump into the video, I just want to let you guys know that the Ultimate Crusader Trading Bundle Pack is on sale, 20% off only until Saturday. There is a limited time on this sale, so if anybody who is interested in the bundle pack wants to grab it, you guys are more than welcome to right now at a discount. But with that being said, I do want to talk to you guys about what's happening in crypto. So obviously, this is a little bit of a meme, but we do see we're just going to put another happy little dip right here before we go to the moon. And I just want to say, for a lot of people, they think that these dips are just coming out of nowhere. But I do also want to reiterate the fact that we are in a solid wave 5 for Bitcoin. We are waiting for the wave 4 to really kind of finish up before we do go to the wave 5. And I've said this multiple times. We've had our wave 1, our wave 2, our wave 3, and now we are essentially waiting for the wave 4. Now, with the wave 4 finishing up, what does that mean for Bitcoin? What does that mean for altcoins? Well, it means that Bitcoin is close to its wave 5 topping point, which will be probably, happening by sometime in December, January, sometime around that point. I know a lot of people have their Bitcoin targets. Of course, you guys already know mine, but I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on Bitcoin in terms of its topping point. Comment down below your target predictions for Bitcoin's top. I'd love to hear it. Now, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about this tweet coming from Barbarian, and I read this the other day, and I thought that it was interesting to pretty much include it in this video, because when we're talking about tokenization, I think that tokenization is coming a far way, especially in the short time that, it has been starting to get or gain a lot of, publicity. So let's read this. In this video posted less than 24 hours ago, immutable hold investor Kevin O'Leary mentions that he met last night with Peter Jones CBE, the legendary tech Mongol, famous for his seat on the UK reality TV program Dragon's Den, and talked watches. What do you think the chances are that they talked about Jordan Freed's NFT.com and tokenizing watches from the likes of FP, Jorn, and Rolex on Hedera, the most secure, most utilized, greenest, and most performant DLT in the world? Now, in terms of tokenization, I've always said that at some point in time we will see jewelry, watches, cars, real estate, pretty much anything that you could possibly think about tokenized. But tokenizing watches and jewelry and stuff like that sounds very interesting to me. And the reason why I say that is because Rolexes, or I should say most Rolexes, are a collector's item. They do appreciate in value. Now, with Rolexes like that, think about getting a Rolex, similar to the Nike NFT things that we talked about in the other video. But think about buying a Rolex, and you get a digital version of that Rolex that is only in a short supply. That is essentially double the value, and it's also double the product. I know that a digital product to a lot of people might not seem like most, but in an NFT tokenized, digitized world, that is going to be immense, value, especially from a digitized Rolex point of view. So I think that this is great. I think that this could very well possibly be something to talk about or actually think about. And with that being said, let's move on. So we do see here DBS Singapore, Hex Trust, Hong Kong, ITT Madras, who are working with government on CBDC in India, all Hedera GCs. We do see here Peru to partner with India, HK, and Singapore central banks on a CBDC. The president of Peru's central bank has indicated that the country will be joining forces with India, Singapore, and Hong Kong to develop its own central bank digital currency. Pretty interesting. Now, of course, I'm not going to speculate a little bit here because you guys already know me. I don't like to speculate too much at all because, when I'm talking about things, I want to give you guys the real, facts, the juicy content, stuff like that, right? But in terms of speculation, okay, I've always said that CBDCs will have to be, pretty much connected together on this one massive network. I know I talk about QNT or quant networks a lot within this as well because interoperability is a big key aspect for a lot of central bank, digital currency, for an example, issuers as well as, many government officials around the world. They always focus on interoperability because these networks have to communicate with one another in order to transact with one another. So, obviously, would this be a big surprise if Hbar was part of pretty much all of this within CBDCs? Wouldn't be a big surprise to me because first off, when I look at Hbar, I've always discussed the fundamentals behind it, the overall statistics of the network and the ecosystem, and I think that Hbar is a clear asset or ecosystem to build CBDCs on, especially in terms of a private ledger, possibly from central banks themselves. But do I think that this is 100% confirmation? Do I think that the dots are connecting fully here? Not really. Just because they are GC members doesn't mean that, hey, they're all working on the same viewpoints here. But I'd love for this to actually be a real thing. I'm not going to speculate and say yes, no, whatever until we do got, 100% confirmation. But I will say, chances are 50-50 here. So I really can't give you guys a solid answer. I'm just saying I don't think that there's too many dots being connected there. With this, we also see Hedera has the strongest presence and trust in India. 3 of the largest companies and institutions from India are Hedera Governing Council members: ITD Madras, Tata Communications, Wipro. There can be no doubt Hedera is a consideration as a platform for India's CBDC. And if you guys did miss this, it's RBI. They're essentially launching a pilot CBDC project in the fiscal year of April 2022 to March of 2023. It's pretty interesting because, like I said, in terms of CBDC adoption, 2022 is going to be a key year for a lot of that digitization of finance as well as banks. So, like I said, with a lot of what's happening, GC members apart, Hbar does have a lot of presence in India. I wouldn't be surprised if India was one of the many DLTs that they considered. We also talk about, XRP possibly being, brought in for the XRP ledger and having a private ledger base point with that. I know a lot of people speculate here, but it doesn't matter, right? Because at the end of the day, CBDCs in terms of crypto adoption, all of it is good for crypto in general. It allows a lot more eyes to be on crypto, and it allows a lot more people to be in crypto. So I'm very excited for the future of digitization in the banking scene, and I think that these are only going to help crypto prosper ahead of most. Now we also see here are some thoughts on why Hedera ServiceNow news is so big to DLT and Hbar in general. Now, I've talked about this many times, but shout out to MC here. To start off, I've worked on high-profile ServiceNow deployments within the core of the platform since 2014 and in similar tech since 2004. Most people know ServiceNow as the system they use to request a new laptop or software install, or when you call the help desk to help get something or help when something isn't working, right? They log in it, ServiceNow, or when big changes to an environment are happening, it happens in ServiceNow. Any company with thousands of employees will generate hundreds of thousands or millions of those events every year. Each one consists of dozens of subtask events, and behind all that are business logic and workflows that create yet more events in the platform. But the event volume doesn't stop there. It's about much more than just tickets. This is where the CMDB comes in, Configuration Management Database. The CMDB is really at the core of all quality now platform, and also it's the core upon all services or how all services operate. And of course, here is that. Now, this is hundreds of thousands to millions of records. It includes all enterprise laptops, desktops, servers, printers, VMs, virtual infrastructure, network switches, circuits, cloud infrastructure, application installs, and tons of attribute data about each. Pretty huge, right? Now, of course, it isn't just a flat view with dependency mapping. You can quickly see what happens across an organization if a certain server fails, which business service applications, people, and customers will fail. Think of it like technical atlas for your whole company. And of course, they don't exist. They're built on heavily curated throughout a series of integrations to outside sources, popular ones like Microsoft SCCM, BMC Discovery, BigFix, the local agents, VMware, vCenter, Oracle, Introspection, Azure, AWS, etc. are standard in most deployments. And here is that ServiceNow ecosystem. Huge ecosystem, especially with a lot of huge names out there as well. And of course, we do see down here, but in all these integrations, trust becomes an issue, speed is an issue, quality becomes an issue, governance becomes an issue. You may not want to trust the something just because it comes through an integration. You may want analytics or analysis to verify and confirm first. Up till now, we're only talking about devices and software. What about people and places? Identity is the next layer. Everything happens or happening is usually happening in relation to a person or group of people in their relation to one another. And this goes on. There's a ton here, but this is essentially leading to massive events, massive transaction workflows. This is where we get to the point of 1 trillion plus transactions a day, or even when we're talking about trillions of transactions. Okay, I just told you guys just the other day when I tweeted out saying we could essentially see 1 trillion transactions per day at some point in time, and we will get to that point. In fact, in terms of trillion transactions per second, which Lehman has mentioned in the past, that is not too far away. In a world where Hedera is the enterprise grade choice for DLTs, when we look into the future where we see a ton of adoption happening for a lot of DLT technologies as well, and like I said, Hedera being the leading name, just imagine how much data, how many transactions will be created a day on Hedera at that point, where data becomes the new oil, and we need something like a massive DLT to really kind of take over for almost everyday use. What asset do you think has the power to really handle that scalability, handle that efficiency, handle the security that needs to be in place for that? Hedera is the leading name, and I don't know if a lot of people realize that just yet, but I do, and a lot of people in the Hedera community obviously see that, but I think a lot of people in terms of retail do not. Now, in terms of today's price action, I do quickly want to address this. So obviously, it sucks to see Bitcoin dump out like that, but we did come down and retest 34.5 cents. This is a perfect retest, by the way, just so you guys understand. The RSI looks a little bit oversold here. In terms of the upside potential from here, I do think that we come up and retest 46 cents, most likely break it on this next run up, and essentially lead to, possibly $1. Now, with this, like I said, perfect retest of some major support going all the way back to October. I think that this is going to allow us to go a little bit higher on the next run up. And in terms of where we are currently, I think that we have a little bit of ways to go, but of course Bitcoin does have that ways to go as well. So we're waiting on that to actually play out. In terms of the Hbar Bitcoin pair, we still look fairly good. We're still a little bit around this major support level, but we cannot flip it just yet. We're essentially still in between 638 and 574 sats. I'm waiting for us to really kind of retest a little bit of a higher up here resistance, possibly around the 679. In terms of where we pretty much came down and retested, there's not too much support here or anything like that. So the point that we came down to retest isn't a significant point. But I will say this, that the Bitcoin pair hasn't, it doesn't look too weak here at all. I think that it's good that we're pretty much ranging around the 638 sat level until Bitcoin does kind of, stabilize a little bit more here. So with that being said, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.